الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. In one journey, the thing that really build up with the person to lead them astray, to constantly always being worrying, is that feeling of guilt. And mainly, subhanallah, the feeling of a person, always regretting things. Someone regret he didn't do this type of school, the other one regret even to have such a relationship that it failed, is all, subhanallah, consumed by regret. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the solution, because if you consume and exhaust yourself with regret, truly you keeping yourself getting distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from the true purpose that it really give you that tranquility, serenity and clarity into your path. But subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described for us many aspects in the Quran and scenarios. When someone, for example, at any moment of your life, what is the most important thing that you need to check and to see and review that is correct and it is right? Because if you look at the past and you regret many things that someone failed, that someone should not have done, that regret, subhanallah, it build up their personality, define their way of thinking, and it really drain them out. That's not the way of Islam. That's why the believer, he looks at the life in a global, view, which is the existential view. Why are we saying this? Because the believers in their life, subhanallah, what is the ultimate point for every one of us? Is death, right? So when you think about it, like as a believer, what is the most important for you is to know the truth, right? And when knowing the truth, then you realize that your life, it's not limited in this world, but life is extended to the eternity. Why are we talking about, the regret? Because whenever you are in this life, the only thing that you regret is that you didn't follow the truth. Because the people who think that they are on the right path, those people, when they realize it is the truth, when they see hellfire, these people, when they see hellfire, they realize that the believer, they were saying the truth. You don't want to regret on the dunya and forget about following the truth, and then you realize that you were astray when you see hellfire. That's why at any moment of your life, when you look at your situation, what is the most important thing that you need to look at and to take care of it? What is this most important thing? Is your relation with Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you, when you are navigating the difficulty of your life, He told you subhanahu wa ta'ala, قال لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم. To not be, subhanallah, sad and worrying about the thing that you have lost, and not excited about the thing that you're getting. A person who does not know the truth, you see them today, subhanallah, billionaires, where are they? They're dead, right? Or people who's making and taking, and you see them, subhanallah, with those files without getting into comment, how, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposed them, right? So, as a believer, what is the most important thing to you? Is the truth, right? And what is the truth? Is to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you think of the scene, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَلَوْ تَرَى, if you see, when they stand before hellfire, That's the true regret. يا ليتنا نرد. That's the true regret. So subhanallah, when you think about your situation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so your relation with Allah is what is going to unlock for you the eternity. Because if you just regret about the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not regret about the dunya. I mean, your past is a lesson. Your present, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give it to you, and you define it based on your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Now, when you think about it, your only main purpose, how to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you don't want to realize this truth when it's too late, when you're going to be seeing hellfire subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to summarize this point, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَالَ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَسْتَمِعُ إِلَيْكَ. Among them, those mushrik, these leaders, making themselves the great, they are, trying to humiliate you. These leaders, we have put cover on their ears. We have put cover on their heart. These people, those who've been bothering you, they're not gonna see paradise at all. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَسْتَمِعُ وَإِنْ يَرَوْا كُلَّ آيَةٍ. If they see any type of ayah, they're not gonna be believing. Look at yourself, you are in the masjid. You're praying and you're making dua. Those people, they have billions, they have millions, they are not even able to say, Ya Allah. Why? Because Allah already rejected them from His rahmah. Can you imagine how great and mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and these people will stand before Allah. وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ وُقِفُوا عَلَى رَبِّهِمْ. You know what it means, وُقِفُوا عَلَى رَبِّهِمْ? It's the day of judgment. You are standing in front of Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this is not the truth. That's why if you don't know the truth today, and you are not on the line of the truth, then you're going to be earning the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قَالَ أَلَيْسَ هَذَا بِالْحَقِّ قَالُوا بَلَى وَرَبِّنَا قَالَ فَذُوقُوا. Then taste the grievous penalty because of your denial. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a scene into the hereafter. These people, they will be carrying the load of their sins. Do you know the worst thing into our creation is to carry your own sins in the day of judgment. قَالَ أَلَا سَاءَ مَا يَزِرُونَ. Therefore, dear brother, respected sister, in a summary, do not regret anything. As long as you have Allah, and as long as you are alive, and as long as you're still making sujood. That's the truth. Then hold fast to it. Allah will help you, and Allah will fill your heart with hope. That's why Allah in many ayat, subhanAllah, this surah is the only surah that has been revealed all in one piece and is escorted by 70,000 angels. When it was sending down to the Prophet, the camel could not hold the power of Surah Al-Amaan, the camel fell. So these ayat, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when the trumpet will be blown, who had the kingdom in his hand is Allah. So who is subhanallah the owner of everything is Allah. He is the owner of you. Therefore, when you neglect this truth, and you consume yourself with the regret of things that does not have any meaning in the perspective of the true life, then you're going to be like lost. And you think that you're doing good. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. And they think they're doing great. That's for the reason a believer need to look for the truth, to hold for the truth. As long as Allah with you, do not be sad and do not be grieved. قال فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. And to the salat يرحمكم الله.